Call the Owatonna City Council meeting to order for Tuesday, July 7th. May we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Swemby.
Here.
Okaberg. Rainey.
Here.
Abraham.
Here.
Burbank. Schultz.
Here.
Dotson.
Here.
Mayor Coons.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight, and with that, we do not have any changes or additions to the agenda. So look for a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Brent Svenby to approve as presented. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. We move on to public hearing 1.4, 2015 sidewalk projects, and with that we'll go to Kyle.
Good evening. This is the annual project of sidewalk repairs, miscellaneous sidewalk repairs around town. We typically put together a list of trip hazards and other sidewalks that need to be repaired. The current policy is 50% property owner or adjacent property owner and 50% city. And there are 10 properties that we're proposing to assess. The total assessment is $7,179.97. Available for answering any questions.
Thank you, Kyle. Any questions from the council?
I should also note for the record that we did receive a letter from Brian Stendel objecting to his assessment of $1,301.07. He feels that the damage to his sidewalk is due to the planted trees. So I just want to note that for the record.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else? Great.
I just have a question about the first three on here. Are downtown, and there were trees that were removed that the city had planted there, and now they'd overgrown, and now some are pushing on the sidewalks and that. And I'd like to see us talk about having some sort of comprehensive plan how we deal with the sidewalk repair where we have planted trees in certain areas.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Any comments to that, Kyle?
We sure can. It's, you're correct. They were all due to tree boxes that were removed because of the existing root ball underneath that grate. The grates are we can't replant another tree in the exact same spot. So, we'd have to move over. The ones on Main are a tripping hazard, and well, the others are also. So we just want to get them fixed. I did look at the ones on North Cedar today, and I think we can reduce the cost some there by just filling in the square. It won't be consistent with the look of the other sidewalk, but it won't look bad either.
Thank you. And according to my understanding is that these are prices not to exceed prices?
Correct.
And I guess my thinking is that what we should be looking at is if we're going to do a study or something to decide how we're going to do a plan for the city. I would say each one of these is a need to be done, correct?
Yeah, I guess the options would be to remove them and have the city pay for the replacement, go ahead with the assessments as proposed, or we could just delay those. I do want to get them fixed.
Okay. Kevin.
I guess I'm looking at these first three also, and I would encourage us to not plant any more trees until we've got a plan in place. We're going to be visiting the same thing every 5 years if we don't have a strategic plan with what to do with those trees, and I don't think it's fair to ask the property owners to every 5 to 10 years pay for something because we didn't have a plan. Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nate?
I'm just curious, in the past, how often have we had to deal with this issue? Are you aware?
This is the first time that I've had to deal with the actual tree boxes and their replacement.
Okay, so we have, but prior to that, have we assessed property owners for this work?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, certainly sidewalks, and this is half the cost. City pays half and a property owner pays half. I've been with the city 7 years, so.
Great.
I just think we should revisit it. I mean, we got to go ahead and get some things fixed that are on the list, I understand that, but I think we should revisit how we look at that whole situation. That's my opinion.
Thank you. I did reverse it a little bit. I should have opened it up for public hearing, which is what I will do now, and at 7:06, I will open up for public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak, please come to the microphone and state your name and for the record. Seeing none, we'll look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So
So moved by Nate Dotson to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I guess I'm feeling the same thing now, going back to our conversations, that we should get them fixed and then work on some way to create a plan that we set up a program to do this throughout the city.
This is the preliminary hearing, so there will be another opportunity at the time that the assessments are set
Okay.
to make an adjustment, and then during that time we can work on a policy on how we're going to handle that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Nate?
now the Shade Tree Commission, these would have all gone through them originally, correct?
Yes.
When they were done?
The actual removal, well, the ones on Main have been gone for some time. The ones by Alexander Lumber were removed last year, and that went through, that was actually a recommendation of the Shade Tree Committee to remove those because they were overgrown.
Okay, Kevin?
Kyle, the trees that are still downtown, have you looked at those planters, and are they going to be in need of repair in the near future as well?
I looked at the two, one in front of Owatonna Heating and Cooling and one by the BP gas station. I didn't look terribly close, but I didn't see any problems. Neither tree is what I would call in great condition. They've been trimmed a lot, and they still look nice, but they're not they're not pristine by any means. There aren't actually that many trees left.
Thank you. What is the council's wishes? Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve as presented.
Well, I want to, this, we have to fix them, so.
Right, okay. So it's a motion to fix them.
I will make a second with the expectation.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. We have a second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion there?
I just, with the expectation that we would probably make some adjustments to this.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to financial bills. You have a report by Greg?
Total expenditures presented for approval tonight are as follows. Checks over $20,000 are $22,500 to the Owatonna Chamber of Commerce, which is their second half payment per agreement. $34,397 to Hazelton Construction for 2015 street and utility projects. $38,806 to Reinders for fertilizer for golf course. $40,142 to Ritter and Ritter for sewer services. $130,850 to Steele County Highway for highway road cost and sanitary sewer. $258,296 to Crane Creek Asphalt, of which $105,070 was for 2015 street overlays and $153,226 for 2015 state aid overlays. $393,759 to James Brothers, of which $83,874 was for the Lamond Road reconstruction, and $306,884 was for the Mineral Springs Parkway project. Other expenditures of $240,956 brings it to a subtotal of $1,159,709. Add to that the July Section 8 payments of $57,754 brings the total expenditures presented for approval tonight to $1,217,463.61.
Motion to pay the bills.
Thank you, Greg. And we have a motion by Kevin Rainey to pay the bills. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to the consent agenda item, which are license permit requests, board commission meeting minutes, and department reports, etc., all grouped into one motion. What is the council's wishes there?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. We have a second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to action items, we've got 3.2.1, 2014 and 2015 labor contract, Local 320 police officers, and we'll go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. What's before you is approving the 2014-15 labor agreement with the Teamsters. We had been in negotiation for an extended period of time. We were able to come to a tentative agreement. I will summarize the major changes for you. There would be an increase in the base wage effective January 1, 2014 of 2%. This is the rate that was provided to all other unions and non-union personnel. A $25 per year increase in the uniform allowance effective January 1, 2014. 2% increase in the employer portion of health insurance. This is consistent with the other union groups and other non-union staff. Increase in the base wage of 2015 of 3% effective January 1st, 2015. The additional expense for fiscal year 2014 will be $36,995, and for 2015 will be $50,000. This funding has been included in the 2015 budget, and I recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brent Svenby. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to 3.2.2, 2015 labor contract with local 1920 firefighters. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you. We have reached an agreement also with the firefighters for 2015. Major changes include a base wage increase of 3% for 2015, consistent with all other union and non-union personnel, and also a $25 increase per year in uniform allowance effective January 1, 2015. The increased cost for the wage adjustment is $16,375. The additional cost for the uniform allowance is $200. This funding has been included in the 2015 budget, and staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Brent Svenby to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Thank you very much for Chris and your staff for getting this accomplished.
Thank you.
Moving down to 3.3, Board and Commission recommendations for conditional use permit, C-1736 Gold Cross Ambulance Building. Troy.
Good evening. Gold Cross Ambulance Service, which is located at 1005 Cedar Avenue South, across from the old clinic, is in an RB residential business district, and the ordinance permits ambulance services in an RB district as a conditional use. So the existing facility, which consists of about a 100-year-old house with an attached garage for the vehicles, did obtain a conditional use permit when Gold Cross purchased the property and moved in. What they are applying for here now is tear down the existing house and construct new crew quarters. The proposed structure would be a one-story structure that would tie in with the residential area. The exterior would consist of vinyl siding, windows, and asphalt shingles, and the pitch of the roof would be similar to that of the existing garage. Operations of the facility would not change. So the operations would function just as they are now. The crew quarters would just be a new facility. And the applicant is also proposing to install a sign that would be along Cedar Avenue in accordance with our sign ordinance. We did have a public hearing at Planning Commission, and we did not have any of the neighbors objecting to this project, and Planning Commission did recommend approval. So staff would recommend approval of the amended conditional use permit as recommended by the Planning Commission.
Thank you very much, Troy. Any questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say approve by say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Good luck with it. Thank you. Now we move on to 3.6, miscellaneous items, city administration benefit package, and we'll start with Tom on this one.
Thank you, Les. We did a performance review on Chris, and she had a satisfactory performance review. But in doing the survey, she ended up on the bottom quarter of wage packages and structures from everybody that we did in the surrounding areas. So in order to move that up a little bit, I'm recommending that we increase her severance package from 5 to 6 months. That means if she's terminated without cause, she gets 6 months of pay. And I'm recommending that we establish a $1,000 matching fund that can go into a compensation package, payroll deduction that she has to match if she wants to take advantage of it.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions from the council? Seeing none, what is council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion from the council?
I just want to say, Mayor, thank you for working through this. Good job.
Very much so. Thank you. And it's well-deserved. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Good luck with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And now with that, we move on to public comments, and anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on subjects not on the agenda, please come forward and sign in at the microphone.
I wish to report that the fire chief has added the wild parsnip to the list of perps that the weed inspector is looking for. And I'm sure that the property owners who are hosting this plant will be notified whether they will take corrective action and whether the city will follow up. We'll see. I have also been working with the Park and Rec Department. The Park and Rec launched an assault against the wild parsnips in the southwest corner of Lake Chase Park. It was very effective as far as it went, but it was really a very poor job. They did not cover the territory at all. I wrote Rick Smith a note, or rather to Mr. Walters, and left it on Rick Smith's desk where he could see it, with a little map showing where the areas were that they had failed to touch. Also telling them, in effect, well, these things send out pioneer plants. And if you can get those pioneers before they can go to seed and before the seed gets into the soil bank, you've got a good chance of containing them. But if you just let them go, you're in trouble. So I have told these people that I am willing to show them where I know some of these pioneer plants are, and that I'm at their service 24 hours a day. to show them where these things are. Why is it important than I to take care of them myself? Because somebody should follow up next year to make sure that my treatment was effective and that I in fact saw all of it, or whether I was just seeing the surface of it. This eradication of this problem and keeping our parks in decent shape is just a constant mothering process. So I want them to be involved. I want to show them where these things are. They have, in 2 weeks or so, have failed to contact me. Also, in the 2 weeks since I left that message for them, they have taken no further action on attacking this infestation in Lake Chase Park. I am hoping that the board and the mayor will yank their chain, try to convince them that this is a problem that threatens the very utility of our wonderful park system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. I do think we should follow up on that and see
I'll follow up with Corky.
what's been happening with that. I do agree that there should be some action taken to solve the problem. So, anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to council comment, and we'll start with Greg.
I just want to say thank you for pointing out the wild parsnips. Once you came a few weeks ago and talked about it, I started looking, and yes, there is a lot of it out there, so thank you.
Kevin.
Same thing Greg said, thank you very much. And also, I see you walking downtown picking up garbage. It's not your garbage, but you're picking garbage up, and thank you for doing that. And hopefully other people can follow your lead and continue to strive to make our community just as clean as it can be.
Thank you very much for your appreciation. Mr. Dotson, you and I encountered in spring, my working up in your area as well. So yes, ever since I moved to town, I've been working on the parks and trails as well as private property to try to take care of keeping Owatonna the beautiful community it is. I believe I asked your support in trying to find someone who lead an effort to carry on this report. I also talked to the extension agents, anybody I could, to try to find somebody who would try to organize this activity and carry it forward. I was totally unsuccessful. I am not an organization man, and I am not connected with any of the veteran service organizations and whatnot, so I just don't have the political contacts to make sure that this kind of work goes forward. I am appreciative of many of the citizens who are also involved as individuals in doing this kind of thing.
Thank you, John. Moving on to Brent.
Nothing further.
Nate.
Nothing to add.
Mayor.
It was very interesting. We drove over to Dodge Center today and took the back roads towards Rice Lake, and there's a lot of that in the road ditches that are not being even cared for or sprayed or anything. So it's not only a city issue, it's a county and a state issue too.
I'm totally aware of the fact that the city, the townships and the county and the state are the primary propagators of the wild parsnip. And following up on this, I have talked to Beth Brady, who is the person on the county staff who's responsible for this kind of activity. And it would appear as though the state of Minnesota is looking for the right kind of herbicide to use in controlling this weed, and that the county is concerned with getting people licensed to apply that herbicide. So it would appear as though the consciousness raising is going on at all levels of government, but the pace, of course, is a lot slower than we would like to see.
Thank you. Chris.
I just wanted to thank the mayor and the council for their support and vote tonight. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Chris. And from my personal, I appreciate the work you're doing, the crusade that you've got going, and we will continue with the help of the city to make it successful. Thank you. With that, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Kevin Rainey, second.
Second.
By Greg Schultz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.